Hey guys, what is going on? This is Ip of RageQuitTV. Gonna be casting a game between April and Haypro. It is a ZVZ on Antiga Shipyards. I know it's ZVZ. Many of you guys do hate this matchup, but I find it to be rather entertaining. You always have action, especially that Ling Bling battle can be very, very fun to watch. And I just got an Astro Mix Amp, so all my sound settings had to be tweaked yet again. But hopefully that crackling sound is gone, and my cast should be much more enjoyable to listen to once I get this fully tweaked out. If there's anything, if the sound wants to be higher or whatnot, just let me know, and I will do my best to fix that. We do see both players going for a 9 overload, so not doing any type of cheese, and we'll see if they go for a hatch first, a pull first, or a gas first. ZVZ does have a lot of variations early on, unlike TVT and PvP. We'll see exactly what these players end up going. We do have April building 2 drones right off the bat, but Haypro, okay, he's just a little bit late. I'm not exactly sure what he was doing there, but was just about 5 seconds late at most building those second 2 drones after the overload did pop. We do have April going to be opening up with a gas, so he will have speed immediately when his pool finishes. He can put on a lot of aggression. If Haypro goes for a hatch first, you can see April do a 1 base all in now. We'll see exactly what Haypro ends up doing. It looks like he will be indeed going for that hatch first build. And we'll look at exactly how to defend this, because I'm almost positive April will put on a lot of pressure just because Haypro is going for this strategy. Even if April doesn't put on pressure, we'll see exactly how Haypro would have dealt with that, because he just wouldn't leave himself open. Goes for that 15 hatch, drones up 1 more, will be building a pool. If he goes for a gas now, that would be extremely risky to do blindly. If his opponent did spawn in this location, he could do that because he would have a scout on and know exactly what his opponent's doing. See the gas before the pool and be like, oh, whoa, man. I'm not going to be worried about that. And oh my god, as I was saying that, Haypro, the Banjo, playing this one risky, going for a 16 gas, 16 pool that looked like after the hatch. He is going to have Lings out so late. We'll see if April ends up putting on pressure. Just left 1 drone in the gas. Does have the 100 to start this speed, and once he gets 50 gas, he most likely will throw down a Bailey's Nest, depending what Haypro has. He can also go for roaches if he sees Haypro going for roaches as well. We'll see exactly what he ends up doing. Only building 2 Lings right now, so it doesn't look like he wants to be that aggressive. April still hasn't got the scout on Haypro yet, so he doesn't know that Haypro opened up with this hatch first, and that is definitely good news for Haypro. We'll see if April keeps on building those drones. Every drone he does build is less and less damage that he will be able to do. We do see no lava on that hatch just yet. Haypro is going to be getting both his queens out, and he's going to have to build a lot of Lings blindly. As soon as he gets his hatch up, is building 4 Lings. Hasn't built anything at this 1 hatch yet. He does have it hotkeyed on 5. And we'll see what these 2 things are. It looks like he is getting a bunch of drones right now. And he hasn't really scouted that much, but this overload has got here. Only saw 2 Lings move out, so maybe that's what he said. Okay, you don't have a lot of Lings. I can build some drones right now. And now Haypro will have the lever to deal with any bit of early aggression. I don't really like this opener from Haypro, just because I think it does leave you a little bit vulnerable if your opponent decides to all-in you. He's definitely having a lot of trust in this April character. We do see a Bailey's Nest being built by Haypro. He does have 2 drones in gas, while April has 2 drones in gas now, is getting the Bailey's Nest as well. And it looks like you only need 2 guys in gas to build Banelings. Those drones do go down. Going to the workers killed it, no drones dead just yet. Neither player has drone scouted. And that's something you generally see a player that goes hatch first doing, is doing a drone scout. The overload does go down. April has snuck one of those queens way down. While this hatch is building, does have a queen still to vomit, and a bunch of Lings from April, and now going to be putting a little bit of pressure on Haypro. Haypro does not have speed just yet, and is going to lose his queen. She wanted to take out an overload, and I'm not sure if she did. Yes, she did. We do see the supply upside down for April as well as Haypro, so both players did get an overload kill. April going to go in. We do have Haypro with a little bit of drone micro going on hold position next to those queens. So those Lings could not attack the queen or the drones unless they manually would target it on that drone, and that is something really good to do against Ling attacks. If you have like a cannon in your middle line, if you have Protoss, that helps so much. We do have 2 Baneleys moving, and they almost complete, but Haypro does end up taking them out. He has an influx of Lings. We do have no Lings out for April, but he has 14 on the way, getting a Spine Crawler, and we'll see if Haypro just charges right in here or builds Banelings before he goes in. Morphing into Baneley's now going to go on the side, going to try to do what damage he can. We do have a handful of Lings here. The Queen's out trying to do what they can, and both of those Queens will be falling, but the Transfuser do down, keep them alive just a little bit longer. Lots of Lings are popping from April. We do have 2 Banelings from Haypro and 2 Banelings from April going in. And nice micro right now from April, taking out both of those Banelings. Haypro trying to do the same thing, but April saying no, no, no. Big Baneling hit there, small Baneling hit there, and April has defended against this. April did kill 2 drones. April killed 1 drone so far. It is 23 to 27. We don't have any rally point just yet. There we go. Haypro is in the drone lead by about 4, which is a little bit big. So April is going to be putting on that pressure. I can realize it may sound a little bit hard, my distinguishing between April and Haypro. Hopefully it's not too confusing. But we do have a big Ling battle right now, and the Lings are going to be falling back as Haypro is morphing into Banelings. And now April going to be falling back, and that is actually hard to keep track of these players. He is still getting his 2 Queens up because both of them did get taken out, so Haypro does have the larva advantage right now. The Queens are popping, going to be doing the inject almost immediately. Couldn't get this one right out because he did not have the minerals. Haypro looks like he wants to put on a little bit of pressure. Baneling only killing 2 Lings right there. And, ooh, nice Baneling hit from Haypro. 2 Lings now going to be microed back. This one Baneling does not want to explode on it because it was low on life. And Haypro does take out that Baneling, only losing 2 Lings. And notice how all these players are only sending out 2 Banelings at a time because it takes 2 Banelings to kill a horde of Banelings. So you never want to send more than 2 out because if you do, then 2 Banelings could come in and wipe out your 4 or 5 Banelings that you had grouped up. And also interesting, it does take 3 Banelings to kill a Baneling while it is morphing. And Baneling going to get in that middle line, does not really do any damage, but those Lings are going to come in and immediately pick down those injured drones. Banelings are exploding to defend that drone line. He does not want to lose any drones. And he'd only killed like 1 or 2 Lings for each of those Banelings, but he did save some drone lives. So that may be worth it. We do have 3 Queens right out for April. Haypro, I think he's still just at 2 Queens. Yes, he is. He is going up on a 3rd base right now. And we have a lair started for April, not yet for Haypro. Haypro going to be going for a Roach Warren. And April does have, well, he's going up on all 4 gases right now. Haypro only going to be going up on 3. And 4 Banelings are going to be marching across, and Haypro is forced to pull back. And we will see how far along these Banelings do get before Haypro. There we go, taking out 1 Baneling for those 3 Lings. And all Haypro has to do is kill these Banelings off, and then he will be fine. 2 more Banelings are coming out. We do have April now splitting up his Banelings. And now 1 Ling for that 1 Baneling. That was a very good trade. And April doing some nice micro right now. Big Baneling hit right there, taking out 5 or 6 Lings. And did Haypro just manually detonate that 1 Baneling? I have no clue what happened there. And it looks like April is in the lead of these Lings and Baneling counts, but Haypro has transitioned into Roaches and is getting +1 missile attack. And it looks like April may be going for Mutas. He does have that lair finish, hasn't built that Spire just yet, but he is at 500 gas. So right now he's trying to decide what he wants to do. And oh, a nice Ling hit on that, but he doesn't have any Baneling, so he is going to have to pull back while he morphs in more Banelings. Going to be morphing in a handful of Banelings, and now going to be building that Spire. And he hasn't gotten in Haypro's base yet, so he doesn't know Haypro's lair has literally just started. Also hasn't poked up this ramp, so he doesn't know Haypro does have a 3rd hatch-up. Could be doing damage to that. Instead, well, he is not. And this is going to be a hard defense for Haypro, but he is going with Roach Baneling, which is very good and very hard to engage. A lot of Banelings being morphed, and ooh, 2, 3 Banelings going down immediately, and a lot of Banelings going down right now. Those Banelings are going up straight to the Roaches. That was definitely not beneficial, but those Lings did go and kill off the Queen. Now going to get 2 of those drones and try to run away, realizing they can't, and now just trying to delay Haypro as long as he possibly can because his Spire is 3/4 the way done. We do have Haypro with a large amount of Roaches. And only the 1 Spine Crawler right now for April. He is getting those Lings out so he can put some pressure on Haypro. He does not want Haypro leaving his base because if Haypro does attack with all this, April could be in a lot of trouble. We do have that Spire now just completing. And it looks like it may be out in time for some defense. Those Roaches, though, are pulling back since they saw all those Lings. And is Haypro doing anything to defend against Mutas? He is getting Spore Crawlers up, so it looks like he knows that just based upon how many Lings April is building. He's like, okay, I went for this fast 3rd base. what can you do to punish me? I don't see you using too much gas, so most likely you're going to be going for mutas, because I went for roaches, and that's how I'm using my gas now. You're not using that gas, so it's got to go somewhere. And he is correct by assuming it is going to be muta play by the 14-minute mark, and this is normally the time mutas do pop out. You never see really mutas come out before the 12-minute mark in Ling Bling Wars, just because players use a lot of gas on those banelings. But around the 13 to 15-minute mark is when you should be watching for those mutas, I believe. I don't watch too many high-level ZVZs, but in my own games, that is generally what I do see. And the mutas are going to be coming in. That is a lot of mutas, but we do have 2 queens right here. This one will have enough for transfuse, so that Spore Crawler going to be in more than enough to deny these mutas. And we do see April building even more mutas. And sometimes you do see the player who goes for mutas only build like 6 mutas and go for overlords, but it looks like April is just massing those up. The queen did not use transfuse on that Spore Crawler, and those mutas now going to be able to take out this 3rd base possible. We do have 4 queens out with 1 transfuse, it looks like. 5th queen is popping out. Haypro does have that +1 missile attack going for +2. That +2 is almost done. And these mutas are going to be taking out the queens. And now going to be going for that drone line. He is going to be catching up. And those workers killed up at 14. Going to the drone count though, even though he's at 14 kills, he is behind in workers by just 1. We do have 3 Spore Crawlers on the way for Haypro to defend this 3rd base. There's mutas going to take out 1 Spore Crawler before it even finishes, but with 2 Spore Crawlers up here, and there's a handful of queens, that is the end of that harassment. We do have Haypro with a lot of roaches, and if April transitions into roaches, he will be behind just on the fact that Haypro is way ahead on those upgrades because he hasn't used this 1600 gas on the mutas. So his ground force will always be stronger unless these mutas do kill a handful of roaches, which just does not happen all that much. We do see Haypro getting a infestation pit, which is very good because that can fungal growth those mutas, and that is the bane of a muta's existence. They have a tendency to clump up, and clumping up once can mean the death of them. You can fungal growth them, and then the queens outrange them. The queens do a lot of damage while the fungal growth just keeps them rooted, and the mutas just don't really do anything. So once the infestors do come out, you really have to be careful with the mutas. But he does have a lot of them, taking out that 1 queen and now going for Spore Crawlers. And now going to get a few overlords soon as they do pop, but that does not supply cap Haypro. And the mutas still haven't really gone around and killed off overlords. We do have Haypro with 2 overlords out on the map. And now this queen's going to get transfused. That 1 game micro back as she gets transfused. So many transfusions. But we do see April tugging down those queens with energy. But with this handful of queens, the 12 it is, he does have enough to push this force back. And the mutas are going to be coming in, takes out 1 Spore Crawler, 2 Spore Crawlers, and gonna get the 3rd one. Infestation pit is almost done, but there's enough queens to transfuse that, so the mutas cannot really target that down. And now he is going to be going back for that drone line. Going to kill even more drones, up to 31 kills. But Haypro, I mean, he's not that far behind. He's still at 50 drones versus the 66, despite him losing around 30 more drones. So he has just been rebuilding that drone count. The roaches do venture off, and now the mutas are going to come in and try to do some damage to them. That muta count isn't really that high anymore, only at 10. Or 12, I think. Yeah, 12. Queens do come, and Haypro is going to be spreading that creep like wildfire. And we do have this 1 queen with full energy, and it would be probably wise for April not to spread the creep right now, just because it would give Haypro an advantage once he gets closer to him, unless he's confident he does have the ground force, which he has killed a lot of drones, so he may be thinking that he is pulled ahead in that roach count, which he is actually ahead by 8 roaches, but again, he is behind in that upgrades. We do see Haypro with a Nidus Worm, just so he can immediately get around the map, just like these mutas. Nidus Worm is a very good tool when combating against mutas, because you know your ground force has a small advantage because you are mobile. So what this is going to do is allow the queens to come to his army and go back home to defend the base if the mutas decide to go there. So this is just going to be able to keep the queens with his army. Handful of infestors go in, 1 goes down, 2 goes down. He only gets off 1 fungal growth on 4 roaches. Definitely not worth it, but gets a nice fungal growth off on those mutas. They were in range to take out that Nidus Worm though, and infestors are getting tugged down. Haypro losing a lot of infestors. Big fungal growths go down, and Haypro's roaches are outnumbered, but they do have the upgrades with the fungal growths. It looks like though April just has too many, and Haypro is forced to pull back. He doesn't have any more fungal growths. Haypro is retreating while April is doing a big push. That +2 for April about complete. Haypro is at 2-1. April is at 1-0. But with all these queens, this is a battle that I cannot predict. That transfuse can turn the tide so easily and so oddly. It is ridiculous. We do have April now just going to be pulling back. It looks like a Nidus Swarm did go off over to this side. It is halfway between the creeps, so that is good for Haypro. Means his queens don't have that far to move, and you can see him going to be unloading his queens right now. Those are like the tanky units. Even though he has roaches, the queens are going to act like paladins and just tank damage and heal damage. But it looks like Haypro may be going for some type of flank. These queens moving about, and those mutas not in too high numbers. Those queens have to pull back, and we'll see what they end up tugging. Most likely going to be tugging down those mutas. But we do have April splitting up his units. Very nice job right now with that big split. Those queens are going down. Those mutas, though, look like they are getting targeted. And one muta left. There we go. All the mutas have died. Haypro has lost a lot of queens. He is down to 0 queens right now, so he can no longer inject. But he does have that roach lead and does have the upgrade advantage. We do have April getting that +1 armor, and he will catch up eventually. He's also now getting roaches. The one queen going to be transfusing a few roaches. The queen does go down. We do have Haypro not rebuilding his queens. Am I sure he doesn't have any out? Yeah, no, he does have 3 queens out. My bad, I missed that. Big Fung Growth going down, and April going to have to be pulling back, but getting more Fung Growth. Haypro is getting a lot of free kills right now, and Haypro pulling back those infestors. Going to get another Fung Growth, but so many fungals just went down, and it is a roach battle. Those infestors, looks like they are out of energy for the most part, and Haypro still has a few more roaches. Going to be pushing this advantage, and those infestors going to be going down. A fungal growth only getting like an infestor and a roach. Lots of infestants do come out. That will aid for Haypro's DPS, and those infestants do a lot of damage, especially with this +2 attack. And oddly enough, Haypro does not have burrow, and a lot of infestors are injured, so they will be getting picked off. There's no retreating for those guys, and there we go. Haypro losing all of his infestors right now. April just going to be barely holding this, but Haypro using that Nidus Swarm, going to be bringing in a reinforcement of roaches. And I can't wait to see the injects this game after that analysis, because that is definitely going to be pretty big. We do have, it looks like Haypro with a large roach lead, but the supply count is generally even. Haypro is behind by 5 workers. But this roach count, he is ahead in the upgrades. That +1 armor just about done. 20 seconds away from being done for April. But Haypro now about to be doing damage as he walks up into this third base, taking out that one queen. No more injects over there. More and more roaches streamlining in from that Nidus. Haypro going to be falling back. Infestitans are going to do a little bit of damage. But Haypro does have a large army. April now building 20 roaches, but he is going to be taking damage while all those roaches do come out. And keep in mind that he will have 1 less inject than Haypro. Both players using their money very wisely, but Haypro stacking a lot of gas, up to 1,200 gas. That can be better utilized. And now he is going to be coming in, trying to take out these roaches. Keep in mind, these are all roaches about to pop. Haypro going to be now losing these. If these roaches stop to attack, small blunder right there. Could have taken out a few more roaches, but Haypro is going to be able to retreat now. Going to be taking his 4th base. But April has got this 4th base up, and how long has it been up? Enough to mine about 200 minerals from each patch. And now Haypro going to be doing damage, taking out that one infestor. And it looks like he is just building pure roaches, while April is building infestors and roaches. And Haypro has to back out. April has such a good concave. That roach battle is not going to be good. And Haypro ends up GGing. April will be taking that game. And that was a magnificent ZVZ. Cannot wait to open this up in SC2 Gears. Let me get this loaded. I never actually loaded this. My bad. And hopefully the sound wasn't that bad. And let me know if the sound quality went down or went up. I did have to downgrade like the hertz, whatever that means, so it's not as hertzy as before, but it is a mix amp, and generally mix amps do make things sound better, because that's what it does. So hopefully it does sound crisp and not crackling. And let's see, let's open up this and move us on over to SC2 Gears. Inject, this is the main thing we want to look at. Let's go to the 10-minute mark, because that definitely the key. We had a lot of Ling Bling battles going on, so this is going to speak wonders. Haypro, 45.5 seconds. April 45.5 seconds, and he did lose 2 queens, actually. Haypro at 14.5 seconds. So, you know the average at this time frame for players of this caliber is around 7 seconds. In any other matchup, with all the aggression going on, you miss injects left and right going to the end of the game. We'll see how this does look. 24.9 and 27.5 for April. So it looks like April has kind of caught up in the injects come late game, because he was significantly behind right here. 45 to 15, and then he ended off 27 to 25. Not bad. During all his battle, this is like all the Roach battle probably in this time frame. And it looks like both players got about 4 cycles, so it looks like both players were kind of even on injects. And I'm kind of surprised is bringing April's way down and Haypro's is going up slightly. It looks like Haypro did a much better job injecting, looking at all the blocks. But who knows? And going over to the unit tiers. Not unit tiers. That's not too interesting. The main thing we want to look at, APM, because I know you guys like numbers. 51 macro APM for Haypro. 66 for April. 134 micro versus 190 for April. So April, little bit faster. His redundancy is higher, but you never know what SC2 gears calls redundant. 21 EAPM higher for April. Going into... yeah, this is all I want to look at. 223 roaches for Haypro, 201 for April. 140 drones for April, 168 for Haypro. And hopefully you enjoy that game. Take care, guys, and I will see you tomorrow, hopefully. It is getting harder and harder to find replays, but every Thursday, Team Liquid releases a replay pack, and I can't wait to get my hands on more great games. Take care, guys, and I'll see you later.